Good day and welcome to CTO Con 2023. My name is Aima Tigari and I'm honored to serve as your moderator for today's panel discussion on data as the new oil. Today's rapidly changing technological landscape, data has become a valuable commodity that drives innovation and competitiveness. However, with this rise in data collection and storage comes the need for increased security, privacy, and resilience to protect individuals and organizations from cyber threats. Our panel of experts will delve into the challenges that organizations face in maintaining these crucial aspects in the current climate. We will explore strategies and best practices that leaders can adopt to ensure that the organization's security, privacy, and resilience remain a top priority. Our esteemed panelists bring unique perspectives and insights to the table, and we're excited to engage in a meaningful conversation with them. So let's dive in and learn from their expertise. With me in this session, I have Wale Oyepeju, who is the CTO of Vendease, and also Joshua Ajayi, who is the CTO of Earnipay. So over to you guys. Before we jump right in, can you introduce yourself to our audience? Wale, can you begin?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Wale Oyepeju. I'm co-founder CTO at Vendease. Vendease is a marketplace where hotels and restaurants in Africa purchase their food, raw materials. And prior to starting Vendease with my friends, turned business partners, I had worked with MTN as implementations consultant, and also worked with IBM as a business partner to IBM. Offering range of IBM suite of solutions in Nigeria, including with some of the banking institutions today. Yeah, so that's pretty much about me. I started off as a full stack developer before turning to the business of IT. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Wale. That's a bit of a rich career you have there going. Joshua, over to you.
Okay. So my name is Joshua Ajayi, CTO of Earnipay. Earnipay is a business that is helping employees to access their daily earnings on their platform. So before Earnipay, I was also with Obiozo, trying to drive logistics in Nigeria. I've actually scaled Kobo 360 to 6 countries. And before that as well, I was involved in a government project where I assisted in building infrastructure for state governments, partnering with communications and MTN sort of. Yeah, so that's a brief overview of my background.
Awesome. Once again, it's great to have both of you here. So going into the questions, let me start with the first question. A recent report by IDC suggests that by 2025, the global data sphere will grow to 175 zettabytes. With the exponential growth of data over the past few years, how can businesses ensure that they are leveraging the right data to gain insights that will drive growth and profitability? Josh, would you want to take this?
Okay. So in terms of driving growth for data, we have a lot of different business now riding their business on data. So we have a lot of businesses, unlike before that we have business not built on data. We have a lot of social media platforms, a lot of digital business coming up to leverage on data to carry their day-to-day activities, right? So what is going on right now is that our business actually get this data, store this data, and then get to maximize this data will actually be a competitive advantage over how other business actually get to process data. So with the rise of many companies now storing data, it will be a game of how effective can you actually use this data to have a competitive advantage over other competitors as well. So as we know that data is everywhere, but it's not about you having the data, it's about what you want to do with data when you actually get the data. So that actually gives competitive advantage. across the sphere.
All right, awesome. So, Wale, you want to go next?
Yeah. So the question was, how can the businesses leverage data? If I hear you correctly, right?
Yes, yes. In such a way that the data that they are leveraging drives their growth and their profitability.
Yes. So, I mean, so for organizations today, the question is not that, oh, do we need to leverage data? The question is, how well are you leveraging data for growth and efficiency? I mean, the whole 9 yards, right? So it is very paramount. For me, I would say that there are various ways um, organizations can leverage data effectively. One of such is being able to understand the state of the business. It's sort of like you have a diagnostic dashboard that gives you the check. You always want to check the health status of your business. Every morning you wake up as a founder or as a top level management executive, you want to understand the health check of the business. And how do you do that if not without if not without if it's not with data? So it's very important that you check the health status of your business. um top level decisions, you also need to leverage data to make top level decisions. um and you know you grow from demanding for data or to be able to make insight to being able to just get notification that gives you the insight. So it's automated, so you're moving from real-time data analytics or to self-service analytics to you just getting the insight, and you are able to make decisions based on the insights you get through that through this notification. So it's a sort of, so companies need to look for a way to democratize their data and insights practice as they mature, because of you know the gamut of benefits that this data and insights offer. And one of the things I also like to say is that we can't overemphasize the need for data, we can't overemphasize the need for insight across functions, you know, because as you do business, you are generating data. So you need to have a way of collecting the data such that you can make informed decision as at when due. Nobody, you know, the business, the business speaks to you all the time, even when you don't want to listen to things being done right or things being done wrong. So, and sometimes you are not receptive to those things, but you need to find a way to listen, because you know that there are the unknown unknown, the unknown known, and the known unknown. So these are things. So the things you know that you don't know, the things that you know that you don't know that you don't know. These are things that you really need to take care of, and of course, you reap the benefits as an executive driving the business for growth or for efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wale. And while you were speaking, my mind was actually going into mention which data plays massive roles in businesses, right? And I see the question in two parts, like right. So one part is collecting the right data, and then the second part is being able to leverage that data for growth and profitability. So for instance, I could just give like a simple example of using the Google Analytics to track user behavior. You see, so for instance, a business might find scroll depth more valuable than probably something like click, or they might actually find clicks more valuable than scroll depth. So I'm definitely sure that it's important for businesses to know what the right data is for them, and leveraging that right data to grow their businesses. So very well said. I'll move on to the second question. As businesses collect more personal data, consumers' concerns are rising. What
Mhm.
impact does data monetization have on customer privacy, and how can businesses navigate the ethical implications associated with it? Wale, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, data privacy is a major issue all over the world, and recently, Nigeria also passed the NDPR into law. And as a matter of fact, companies are required to go through, audits, data privacy audits in Nigeria today. And I believe it's a good thing, because we need to, every business needs to, operate responsibly. And one of the ways that we need to approach this is, number one, we, as businesses, as responsible businesses, we need to be very transparent in terms of being clear about what we need data for, and how we intend to collect the data, store, and how we intend to use the data. So these are things that we need to be very transparent about with the users, upfront. And it is within the right of the users to feel, to check what the data is being used for. And we are beginning to also see some innovation in terms of data privacy. Startups are coming up with you being able to agree or disagree, switch, turn on or turn off your data from a company. And even though there is a regulatory provision for you to keep the data, there is also the ethical aspect of what do you do with the data when you have within the time that you've been you have agreed to keep the data based on the regulatory provision. Now, we can also overemphasize the need for data privacy. We need to prioritize it as responsible organizations, especially sensitive information in terms of credit or debit card details, date of birth, BVN, NIN, bank account number, and all of that. So we need to make our customers. We have duty of care to our customers, to make them feel safe while transacting, while doing business with us. And that is, if you come across beyond the social media, the branding and all of that we see organizations do today, you are promoting communication that has to do, that makes you to be accountable and transparent in terms of how you use the customer's data. I mean, it will adhere the customers to you, on in the long run. That's what I will also say we should prioritize. So we should prioritize transparency. We should prioritize data privacy, and then in terms of ownership, we should give the ownership of the data to the users, to the customers, because customers is they are king, and we need to make them know and feel comfortable that they own the data. It is not. It's even though they gave us the data in trust, you know. And then monetization. I mean, if you are transparent upfront that you are going to use this for this and for this, whoever needs to whoever can accept it will accept it. And I think there is a thing about this data privacy thing that is always so long. I think we need to improve on it. You have data privacy that all of us read, we don't even bother to read because it's just too long. But but can we make it can we summarize it so that these guys can actually, and lawyers, this is to lawyers, IT or digital lawyers today, they need to summarize it and just make it very minimal for people to read and understand the implication of what they are about to get into, so that they don't feel cheated in the long run. Yeah. Thank you. And this is also to the
Yeah,
best of the companies out there, like we all need to do better. Thank you.
yes, yes. Thank you. So, Josh, before I ask you the same question, I just want to do like a quick check. If you've ever like gone through that list of why they're collecting data completely, can I see your hand? So
Mm,
none of us have really gone through the entire documentation. I think that's a really valid point, Wale. You need to summarize, right? And of course, there's a room for elaboration, but upfront, so a summary will actually give like a more holistic picture of the kind of data they're collecting and what the companies, organizations are going to do with such data. Yeah. So Josh, over to you. The same question.
yeah, I mean, just to support Wale, right, in terms of improving the transparency of data that you collect to you from your users, we also need to build that trust. One of the ways is actually like getting another body to ascertain that you're actually like following the right rules. So I mean, you can tell the customers that, hey, I'm actually like getting the data in the right way, storing it, and then having like all the good insights, right? Getting a third party, right, to ascertain that this is what you're doing and you're actually like, using the best practice, right? So we have like bodies like getting this certification, like ISO certification, that actually puts your firm in a way that getting your customers to even trust you more, that you're actually taking the best practice and you have taken one step ahead to go and get these certifications out there. I mean, just to like give customers that assurance that you're actually using the best practice to store your data. That's something that you want to use. And in terms of monetization, we've seen like different products that they've gotten like users' data and they've used it the best way, not necessarily like exposing like in terms of like data privacy. And we see now it has actually helped other businesses to grow. A product like Copilot that actually like supports developers when building products. So they've gotten like different data sources from different codes that have actually been uploaded on GitHub. But now they've actually drawn insights on that to help like developers in building much more resilient codes. So Copilot is one of an application whereby you actually like get to monetize data that you have so far using it in the right way.
All right. Thank you very much, Josh. So my next question will be artificial intelligence adoption is 2.5 times higher than it was in 2017. What role do emerging technologies like AI and machine learning play in augmenting human decision making and driving um, business innovation? Wale?
So, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, so data analytics practice or practices like machine learning, data science, they play a crucial role, in unlocking the value inherent in data, right? And it's a strategic assets to the business. Okay. And by leveraging these tools, we can gain insights from the data, make data driven decisions, automate processes, improve efficiency, and even accuracy in the line of duty. So we can use them for predictive maintenance of, for instance, in a production line or a production setting. So you analyze data from sensors and even other sources. So machine learning, you apply machine learning algorithm to predict when equipment is likely to fail or when it's over capacity, and it's due for maintenance and all that. So because before um, the advancement in machine learning, what we used to get from even sense this machine software, they are descriptive data. They are what we call descriptive or information system, right? So all of the data you get from them, they come at descriptive level. So with the advent of machine learning, you are going into, we now have diagnostic, we have predictive, and we also have prescriptive data and analytics. And that's a good thing that machine learning has been able to also achieve as a practice or a subset of the practice in data science, right? So there is also the issue of fraud detection. So by analyzing transaction data, you look for patterns and behaviors, and you can identify fraudulent activities, and you present this before, before it embarrasses the company. You present it to decision makers, and they can take actions to prevent losses. Then there is also, we are entering into, or we've entered into the era of personalized marketing, by analyzing customer data, product data, service data. We can predict customer preferences. We can make recommendation based on customer behaviors, and other history. We allowed customers to have personalized marketing messages that is not restricted to it's a well-defined, a defined type of way, but you are tailoring it. So we are in the era of personalization today. We all love what you know top level companies are doing with personalization, right? And companies, even SMEs, startups, we are embedding AI. We are, in Vendease, for instance, we embed AI to be able to understand our customers better and give them, personalized experience to a very large extent. In fact, it's also shaping how we are doing our, how we are expanding in terms of our distribution and fulfillment centers, getting the product at the time that is required to the customers, situating some of our infrastructure and facilities close to the customer so that we can serve them better. And also in terms of alternatives, in terms of, to make them to be as cost effective as possible. There is also supply chain optimization, right? We all know the challenges we are facing in this side of the world, where a lot of the things have to be built. You have everything in silos. So with data, you're able to map you plan your routes, you plan your delivery, you also even plan cost in a way that is efficient. So with all this IoT, with IoTs, you can collect data from sensors and be able to do all of this thing. So it's pretty interesting, and I see that it's going to continue to develop, based on even data from McKinsey, for instance, that companies that use all of these machine learning models or analytics, they they are more than twice to report higher profits than their peers, by just doing this. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wale. While you were speaking, I just remembered like a conversation I had some time back with a relative where he said that now you can also, like in terms of the healthcare industry, you can predict, few like diseases that one is predisposed to when they are older, and basically have information on how to avoid these diseases. So even in the health
Mhm.
industry, right, it's very, very impactful, right? Knowing that with this aggregated data, you can actually save lives, and in the agri industry and all of that. So yeah, Joshua, would you want to chime in on this same question?
Yeah, one of the powerful tools that I've seen with machine learning for me is the predictive model. So predictive in the sense that, so if you run a business for like 12 months, you already have like information about users, you already have like a lot of transactions. Before now, businesses just still continue running blind. But with data machine learning now, we already have like a way to tell you
Mm.
based on how your experience is for 1 year. You should be able to know like how will this customer behave in the second year. So based on all the factors that happen, the way the customer behavior is on the platform, it can get to predict like this is what's likely to happen in private subsequent years. And the thing there is that so it kind of shaped the way data is in terms of data at rest and data in motion. So rather than just storing data and then instead data is just like waiting there for you. Now you now have like active data where the data is now going to meet the users. Whereby I mean, Wale mentioned something about personalized information where based on behaviors you have from this data, you now like have data in motion, like doing stuff and then going to meet the data, going to meet the customer, and then providing like much more solution for them. So that's one of the key things I've get to like benefit from this machine.
Awesome, awesome. This has been very, very insightful. So I'll move on to the next question. And this is centered around governance, right? How can businesses ensure that they are complying with data protection laws and regulations while still effectively utilizing their data? Joshua,
Okay.
do you want to go first?
Okay. So I mean, I think we've mentioned like some of those things. So you want to have like laws that govern like how you are protecting data. So one of the things I've mentioned is um, be very transparent. Let your customers have like those data privacy laws out there. And anytime you want to, so you're actually telling your customers, this is how we plan to collect the data from you. This is what we want to use the data for. This is how we plan to store in terms of like security. And if anything is going to change to that, maybe one of the ways you are processing data actually change. You be more transparent and get to update that data privacy laws open to your users as well, getting an external person to also like get your customers to be at rest. Like, okay, you have these certifications with these different bodies, and then that happened. Like, so they get to even trust you more. So one thing is the data privacy laws, the security that you also have on your infrastructure also matters very well in terms of how you're actually protecting data. So I mean, you can get these certifications different places, but what are those key security measures that you put in place to ensure that um, data that is being entrusted to you actually stay there and the integrity is it's in check? I mean, so top of mind for me is going to be data privacy, how you actually like being transparent to your customers in terms of the policies that you have put in place. If anything is going to change on how you use customers' data, how you get to notify your customers or update these data privacy laws as well.
Yes, well said. I also know, with the coming of GDPR and COPA, NDPR, and all of that, there's been like data protection as a service solutions as well, right, to help businesses and organizations comply with, these new laws. So, Wale, would you want to also contribute to this question?
Yes. I mean, Josh said a lot. I'll just add a few to what he has already said. So for me, I would also add that we, as responsible organizations, we need to understand the framework of data protection. You mentioned GDPR, and there is also NDPR, right? So because you collect companies um, collect data across different countries sometimes, even though you are in Lagos, right? And you need to understand the framework to the guiding that guides global data privacy. And part of the framework is the provision to have data protection officer who is responsible and accountable for your data protection or data privacy practice. So you need to have somebody responsible for it, and it can be anybody within the organization that understand IT or data privacy law, right? And then you get the person trained and certified in the practice, and you carry out audits, periodic audits, to be sure that you are doing the right thing. And then also, once the essence of the audit is to take action, right? And once you have don't just do the audit for the sake of, oh, let us just get these regulatory people off our back. Do it just so that with the with the duty of care in mind to protect your customers. So that's what I would just add to what Josh already said. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been a very, very insightful session. I really wish we can go on, but I mean, thanks to all of you, our listeners, our audience, and to these esteemed speakers we have. Thank you for being here at CTO Con 2023. We hope that you enjoy the rest of the session. Thank you, Wale and Joshua, again.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.